Hello and welcome everyone to the Wild Rift Open by FSL. I'm Infinity and this is Dash. And Dash, it's been quite a while. It's been months since the last Wild Rift Open, but we're back here in FSL.
Yeah, and we're back with a new and strong teams being formed right here. There's a lot of PH teams that has been in the tournament right now, which is really nice to see. But right now in the SCA, there's a lot of challenge for all of these ladies. It would be a great time for us here, Infinity, for the FSL Wild Rift Open. And again, there's a lot of patches since the last FSL, so there might be some changes with the champions that they're going to be using.
Oh, definitely. And there are also some system changes in League of Legends Wild Rift. So that is going to be an interesting scenario for League of Legends Wild Rift right now for FSL. And what are the type of strategies? What are the type of champions that we are going to see right now in the Rift? But so far, Dash, how are you doing? It's been months.
Yeah, it's been months. It's been, I don't know if it's great, but it's nice. it's just okay. The months has been okay. School's starting again. I think you too. You have been pretty busy with school since January, right? Since so it's been pretty busy for everybody. But hey, it's still here. We're back. Wild is here. But how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's been a bit busy, as you stated, like school stuff, but
yeah,
right now, League of Legends Wild Rift, series number 1, I'm really ready. And speaking of which, let's actually jump into the brackets. Let's see who's the teams that we are going to see for the day.
Yeah, right now we have the teams here. We have the lower bracket finals for everybody, but let's take a look at who's in the upper bracket. It's City Dogs, Kitsune, MDH Esports, and D35T1. These are the teams. City Dogs, very familiar team. They are the ones who took down Peekachu, which is, oh wow, that's a very big wow for me. And a lot of these teams are, oh wait, two D35 teams have taken down each other right there on the lower bracket.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And now I'm really curious because looking at the lower bracket, it is RXE RAGNAROK up against Peekachu, as we've seen for the upper bracket, wherein they lost their first round. And you also have UGH Guardians up against Upside Down here in the lower bracket.
Yeah, and this is the lower bracket. This is the ones that we're going to be casting. And right now, we're going to be casting RXE, Ragnarok, and Peekachu. And we're going to be taking a look at what's going to happen later on in the UGH Guardians versus Upside Down. After all these games, it's a best of 3. There's a lot of things going on for all of these players. And I'm excited to see how they are going to be pairing up with patch 4.0b. Because right now, in our patches, Zeri has been put up in the game. And actually, Zeri is not going to be available in the game right now. But with that, we can definitely say that Zoe is available. So I hope we can see some Zoes in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be a feast in League of Legends Wild Rift, especially with Zoe just jumping around, going for the sleeps, and going for immobilization up against the enemy team. So that is going to be an interesting champion to pick up if ever these teams actually want to go for that route. You also have Camille to be actually quite exceptional in League of Legends Wild Rift, having a huge flexibility. So these champions, I mean, we have a lot of champions right now compared to the beginning of last year.
Yeah. And also, what's great about this, though, for these champions that have been put up in the game, and Zeri also, after some time, maybe in the next Wild Rift Open, I'm excited to see what Zeri is going to be doing to our meta, how she's going to break the game, like how she broke League of Legends PC. So, excited to see that. But hey, we're not going to be seeing that today. But hey, 4.08, it's base burning. Base burning. That's what I want to see here. How it's going to change the all over things that people are going to do. Games are going to be quite longer than it was before because the inhibitors are going to be responding compared to how it was before. That when you take down a base, an inhibitor turret, they're not going to respond. It's there. It's taken down. It's destroyed. But here, they're going to be responding, which is really great to see.
Yeah, and I like how you mentioned about it because right now, there is that potential to make a comeback even if all your inhibitor turrets has been destroyed. There are inhibs that is going to resurrect and it's going to go up. So now you have a combat capability up against the opposing team to be able to destroy them even at the late game. So I'm really curious, how did that change the champion pickup of these teams? Are they going for more towards the late game now, late game scaling, rather than the early game power spike type of champions that we've seen before?
Yeah, the big difference here is that if they try to go for the late game, 25 minutes is when the base starts burning, 25% HP is when every inhibitor turret would just melt down to 25% HP. But what's great about this is that, yeah, as you said, there's a potential for comeback, which is pretty great. Because right now, if ever you take down early game inhibitor turrets, you're gonna be at a disadvantage too. Because
Mhm.
what's great about that for the enemy team that their inhibitor turret has been destroyed is that they could farm. They could get a lot of resources because all of the minions are going to be going in their favor, and as long as you don't finish the game, they're just going to be farming all those gold that is going towards them. So the big
Mhm.
change here is that whenever you try to take down an inhibitor turret, you need to think about how you'll finish the game, because if you don't finish the game, they're just going to get a lot of gold.
Yeah, and it's a matter of saying the permanent lane prio, right? Last year, we keep on reiterating this type of phrase because there is no inhib. Now, it's going to be a temporary lane prio up until the inhib goes up. So,
Yeah,
really, really
that's true.
interesting stuff here from patch 4.0a and 4.0b, and I'm excited to see League of Legends Wild Rift gameplay, Dash.
Yeah, and I like to see this for these players that we have for today. Though this is gonna be very exciting because I've seen yesterday there was a lot of plays, a lot of tournaments happening. WRLA is
Mhm.
happening right now, and a lot of the players have been playing a lot of Camille. Camille is very, very strong right now in the meta. So right now, let's get into the draft and see if they're gonna be picking Camille, because I'm excited to see if the Camille and the Galio would have the very much the same priority as it was in WRLA.
Yeah, and I also like this Karma ban because we've seen from a priority standpoint, in the red side, there is a Lucian Karma pickup. So banning a Karma away would leave a Lucian open for one side or another. And so far, we have Lee Sin, Olaf, Ari banned away by the blue team. And for the red team, you have Galio to follow up.
Yeah. And now with this though, with the bans that we have for today, it's gonna be a bit different for these players because the Galio getting banned just signals that Camille could get the first pick here. They're much afraid from the Galio than the Camille. Camille has a lot of potential for mistakes. That's why people aren't just picking her up. But here, priority for Nami. Surprised about this.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, right? Because yes, Nami has that capability of having a huge aggression into the game with the Aqua Prison and also the Tidal Wave if it reaches level 5, but there are a lot more champions to pick up. Jace, for one, is a really aggressive pickup, and also Corki for the red team.
Yeah. This is good priority picks from Peekachu. This is why Peekachu is a really top tier team, because picking up the Jace, picking up the Corki, Jace, Corki fighting against, I mean, Jace against a Corki, Corki's stronger because the Corki could just whittle down the lane, just farm up, and picking them both up is that's strong. 2 power picks already onto the side of Peekachu, so I'm really sure that this is just so good already by the first 2 picks.
Yeah, and that's just a big brain move, right? Why put Jace and Corki up against each other when you can pick them both up?
Take them
and
both,
Pikachu is just huge brain. And now RXE Ragnarok has to scour back a bit, pick something up, and that would leave them for a Diana and a Fiora lock-in for the first phase pick.
Honestly, Pikachu could pick the Camille here right now because the Fiora up there, I mean, if it's a 1v1, the Camille Fiora would have the bigger advantage. But if Camille could just go and try to not pick any fights against the Fiora, it would be really good because the Camille is still a strong power pick right now. The QOLs on the last match 4.0a, she just became way stronger than how she's supposed to be because she has been nerfed tons and tons of times, and that's why she became the champion the champion that she was when she was released. But here, she's strong, which is great.
Yeah, and the thing is about the Gragas pick, this is really good. And what I mean by good is their flexibility upon it. Because you have Corki that can go mid or bot, Gragas that can go pretty much anywhere, Jace that can go jungle or even top or even mid. So the flexibility that Pikachu has attained for the first phase pick is really strong. And as for RXE Ragnarok, you have Nami as support for sure. Fiora being a top jungle that could have that potential, but more so top. That leaves Pikachu with a better position in this draft.
Very flexible for Pikachu. But RXE Ragnarok, with their champions, you know where they're gonna go. It's okay that they have the Nami here together with the Diana. They have a lot of AoEs to work with. But the problem here is because they picked the Nami and Diana on the first 2 picks, Gragas is very strong against these champions, not letting them have the easier time in just engaging using all their AoEs, because it's easy enough for the Gragas to just cancel them out.
Definitely, right? The huge disengage power that the Gragas does have is really strong. And even engage at that point, you have the explosive cast that could pretty much disassemble the whole team of Ragnarok in 5v5 team fights. And that is going to be very important, especially considering from what we've stated a while ago about, the burning of inhib turrets. You also have the inhibs coming up. These late game potentials are going to be really important. And now the Camille has been locked in.
Yeah, that's scary. That's scary. And also, I was surprised about their bans on the last part of this, or for RXE Ragnarok, banning the Yumi, banning the Lulu. The Gragas is already there. That gives you very much all of the information. But as you said, they're very flexible. That's why it's great that they got psyched by what Peekachu is gonna do with these champions, because they didn't know they're not gonna be picking that as support. They can just put the Gragas on the support role, and it's gonna be easy to just pick up any champion that they would need with their composition. This composition is very, very aggressive. They can pick something that could tone it down, maybe cover it up with another layer of CC, because Jace and Corki are enough damage sources already.
Yeah, and it's all about the mind games, especially when it comes to the draft, that you have to prioritize this specific picks. You can ban these specific picks, so it's all about these mind games. And Peekachu hovering on the Blitzcrank reiterates and supports the idea of playing on those mind games in the draft. So we'll see how that would turn out. But so far, from the standpoint of us casters, we're looking at a lot of late game picks here.
Yeah. I like this pick. I like having the Lilia on the team for Peekachu, because I was waiting for it. Because if they have a lot of CCs anyway, the Lilia could just couple it down. And if ever they have the Lilting Lullaby, one combo, one ult, and that's enough for all of these AoEs from Gragas to just chunk down the damage just from the Lilting Lullaby. And also, what's great about the Lilia is that the Lilia could stop fights. That's why she's very strong right now. Yes, she has a lot of wave clear, which is pretty good in itself, but her CC, her value in this game right now is because she's a very strong DPS too, because of her passive and because building Leandris on her is just so good.
Yeah, and just the extra amount of sleep, the extra amount of immobilization that Lilia does have that could follow up, especially a Camille engage or a Gragas engage, are really significant. As you've stated, the follow-up CC, the CCs that Lilia have is really big. So looking at this 5v5 dash, what can you say about Ragnarok this time around?
Honestly, Ragnarok does have a lot of potential for setups. What they can do is stop them from getting any great stoppage. But the better part here of their composition is that the Nunu has a lot of pressure in the early game, which the Lilia doesn't have. I think they could leverage that in order for them to get their early game advantage and not let any of the champions from Peekachu to just soar. Because most of the champions from Peekachu are very resource heavy. If they don't get the resources that they need, that could be a very big problem that RXE Ragnarok could use in their favor.
Yeah, Jace, Corki, Camille,
Lilia,
champions,
even
Lilia needs gold, as you've stated. So it's really important to have that pressure from the Nunu and Willem, especially at level 3. You have Snowball, you have the capability of ganking each lanes. At level 5, having more capabilities of slowing down these enemy teams to make better plays on those objectives on those lanes. So I'm really, really excited. This is the lower bracket, and we're at the first FSL Wild Rift Open for 2023.
Yeah, very excited to see how this is going to be opening up for all of our players, because right now on the patch, it's a lot of difference, a lot of adjustments to the playstyles, and patch 4.0b changed a lot of things also. That could be very great. Also, Dawn Shroud has been talked about every time, but I think Dawn Shroud is a very niche pick, especially for this game right now, because they don't have anybody that could use it.
Yeah, it's an interesting item, right? But so far, right now, 1v2, the body slam connects onto Ling. The flash is burned. Good trade from Peekachu.
Ling forced to back away just because of that. And this is just the power of Peekachu as a team. And we know this is a very aggressive setup that they have. And it's not something that the other team could just use in their favor, because they're using a utility support compared to the Gragas that Claria has.
Yeah, and this is like the the classic support, even going back into patch 3, right? Having the support roam in top first, having that huge pressure up against the enemy team, because at that point, you just have lane prio for pretty much the whole 4 minutes. So that is something that Claria has been doing, especially what you mentioned a while ago, Dash, that Fiora has the advantage up against Camille.
Because the Fiora always has the advantage just because of the fact that she has the weak points. And also, one grand challenge can just take down a Hextech ultimate. If your Hextech a disadvantage, rather than having the advantage on that zone that you're creating for yourself, it's basically like saying to Fiora that, yeah, pop all your grand challenge stacks on me, which is not what you want to have.
Definitely 100%. Right now, though, you have like the traditional type of farming sickle for Nami, and also you have Greg as a support item as expected, but a 1-for-1 Scuttle trade. And now that we're reaching near that level 5, any expectations here?
Yeah, Lilia, this is what we were saying a while ago, the power, the pressure that they have in the early game is because RXE Ragnarok doesn't have that firepower just yet. They're not going to be fighting this very fast.
Yeah, Fiora now going for the response. Low HP for a minute, but now Kristen Lay flashes in. Very, very low. Bunny snap with a flash. Will not connect. Will not save her teammate's life. And Peekachu will lose minutes. Now Ling overextended. The 1-for-1 trade is secured. Now Lime uses up the flash over the wall. Aqua Kristen will connect onto one, but the root is going to be very important. And now Nunu and Willem just has to sacrifice her life, and Peekachu will get a better end.
That was a win already. I thought they're not going to be fighting that after getting a 1-for-0. Big advantage with the first blood already from the side of RXE Ragnarok. But because they re-engaged, they had enough time. Peekachu had enough time to rotate against them, which netted them the 2-kill advantage against RXE Ragnarok.
With that amount of kills going into Aya and also Lilia at the same time, maybe this is the answer of Peekachu. Perhaps this is what they want. You know, you've mentioned having a gold-heavy resource team lineup for Peekachu.
Yeah.
Maybe the answer is just get a lot of kills, farm champions.
Easy advantage to them. Getting the gold that they need, especially to the Lilia and also the Corki at this point in the game, is very, very crucial. Because right there, we saw a while ago, Aya was there. Aya is in the bot lane, and Aya was just there. I'm really surprised that she was there. The rotation has been called, and it was great to see this rotation at this early in the game for these teams. Because right now, that is exactly what they need. These rotations are going to be important, especially when you're against a Lilia. Lilia is really good at fighting against them, but there you go, hook shot comes and tap.
Toxic ultimatum on to Ling, and now the follow-up, it's just an easy kill for Peekachu.
Yeah, Toxic ultimatum, not going to be able to use the flash. She used the flash though, and the ignite from Ling still wasn't able to get out of that battle. That's again another easy kill for this Lilia, which could be potentially bad, especially for this 5-minute mark that we have the objectives coming up.
Yeah, for sure. And those gold plates from top lane onto Camille makes it so much harder for Ling to have that advantage, especially considering you have a huge amount of assists already for Camille top. And so far, I don't know. What can we do to get that lane prio back for Ling?
Ling, this is not going to be easy for her to get back into the lane priority, because Camille and also the Lilia already has the items that they need. They might be able to get some of these playthings that they have right now on the top side, which is very crucial for her, because she's going to be needing a lot of that. Now, objectives are going to be coming in. They need to fight on these objectives, and this is going to be a bad position right now for them because the package is here, the damage was there.
Aya has package HP advantage towards Peekachu as well because of the amount of damage that Aya has been producing from a long distance up against Nami and also Nunu and Willem. And so far, that has been constantly happening so far. Hextech ultimatum on the top lane. Might be another kill. Ling is dead with a flash from Camille to follow through with the execute.
Grand challenge to run away. No, it's not going to be effective in running away, especially from a Camille that's made up right now, top side. Red Pearl, they're going to be taking it.
Going through now with the backside. Hope coming in from Jade.
Wow.
That will be the Red
Forgot
Pearl
it.
secured by Ragnarok, but in trade for a champion's cost. Luna and Willem is down.
Oh.
Tristan Lay to follow up. The amount of slow from Peekachu. They're just farming champions.
Kirsten Lay wasn't able to get it. Now, mid lane is going to be their target. Red Pearl has been taken by the members of Ragnarok. That fight was supposed to be in their favor, but they lost a member. That's why it's pretty hard. Right now, they want to take out mid.
But that roam for Peekachu, it's really hard for Teemo to contest them, especially considering the late game power spike that a Teemo does have. So far, Peekachu just got a little bit of gold plates, and we're going back to standard.
They're just taking out all the plating that they can get, especially for Ling Hill here in the top side. Snowball's coming in. They're not going to be able to hit. Red Pearl is going to be thrown away. This is going to be the first tower of the game.
Yeah, if that connects, it's over for the top first blood. Go to the side of Ragnarok, a little bit of gold injection to their team for Nuno and Willem and Ling. And that could stay a consistent roam now for Ragnarok.
And like RXE is not just letting any of the skills just take them down. They're always just clear in their minds what they want to do. They want to take down top side just to get Ling back into the game and also to get the priority on the top side of the map. Right now, they want to just not let this mid lane turret fall, because if this falls, that's bigger priority than 2 towers on the side of Peekachu.
Yeah, and both junglers are mirror rotating up against each other. They know that there is pressure in the mid lane, and so far, they are not going for an all-in. However, look at top side. Camille has been putting a lot of pressure on the top lane, getting a lot of these prio, and Ling is in danger. She knows rather, that Gragas is there, Lilia is there.
They're not just gonna give this kill to them. That's why Peekachu hope. She's gonna be taking the tower. Ling not inside. Not gonna be a kill inside. But right now the damage grand challenge has been used.
Buddy Stam will not connect. Kind of wait for the disengage. It is in danger, but
the
there's
cast.
no follow-up. 1 HP will not secure it for Ragnarok. And Camille will just go out unscathed. Pikachu unharmed in that fight.
They want to go for an engage here. Explosive gas is not available with using on that. Like Pikachu is not giving any inch against his team. Hey, with what we're seeing right now for Pikachu, this is just great. The rotations are great. They're not giving any inch. They gave 1 kill right now. Snowball's gonna come in against Laria.
Next up for Kristen to follow up. The CC chain is flawless. Lilia follows through. They're going in. Glaria flashes back away. No kills for Ragnarok so far. And Pikachu, once again, a great follow-up by Lilia will save her teammates' life.
Yeah, that was a trade there, though. Also in the bot lane, they got the tower just because of that trade on the bottom side of the map. But very great flash from Claria. I thought Claria was dead in the water there, but the stasis of the flash was enough to survive. And RXE Ragnarok, with what we've seen, that's what we need. They need to just use the vision in their favor, try to take out some kills. The snowballs are just finding its value. The snowball to the aqua person is just a combo that they can use in order to net them some kills, because their champions, especially this Tristana, right now, until they get the second item, is not going to be as effective as what the Corki could bring out in this fight.
And this is what the power of Pikachu, of their draft, of their lineup, right? Because
That's
if we're
true.
considering Ling up against Camille, you have Fiora Camille matchup. Supposedly, Fiora has the advantage, but right now, before then, you have a 3v1 type of setup. Camille is in danger, going for the ultimate for Tristana, go for the knockback. But Hextech ultimatum, looking for the last breath, but will not be enough as Pikachu will lose their top lane.
What did they lose? They lost the repel just because of that. They lost Camille, but they got the repel because of that encounter in the bot lane. And because of that too, that gave them an opportunity to take down the mid lane turn. And this mid lane turn is just gonna fall down pretty fast. They have the package on the Corki. Aya is just gonna be laying it down on the floor with them. Okay, package is down. Never mind.
They're gonna have another fight here. Ragnarok going through for that pressure, fighting for the red buff. Yeah, Hancock moving in for the Afro Prison as well. Tidal wave, disengage, double man knockup. Not enough, no follow through. The red buff will be secured by Pikachu.
Remember, level 11 on the Lilia. very big advantage against Lime on this junglers. But this is gonna be a hard fight if ever they want to start it out.
For sure. And this is what we're talking about a while ago, right? If it's a Fiora-Camille matchup, Fiora should have the advantage. But the thing is, Camille has so much lane prior a while ago, has the level advantage, and now you have Fiora up against Jace as well. But you can't just go in up against Jace. You have a lot of poke, and then when Fiora comes in, you have the knockback from Jace's melee weapon. So it's so difficult right now for Ragnarok to move around and just maneuver in the map.
3 towers down, and we know that Peekachu has map advantage here. That's why they can move around the jungle of Ragnarok right there at the bottom side of the map. They're not afraid to take any risks against them, because any wrong move by Ragnarok is just going to be a takedown already as fast as they can take down anyone they want beside of Peekachu. Right now they started it. They still haven't used Ripple, but hey, there you go, the ultimate's there.
Punch Laria, followed up it after Kristen, but look at the backside. You have Lilia going through for the flank, getting a lot of these damage in, and now Teemo, or well, rather Tristana, is really, really low. No kill secured, but that is just enough to push Ragnarok back.
Sandy can survive out of that. And this is just a start of what we want to see against these teams. Because with Peekachu having the priority around the map, they can take the objectives, they can secure what they want, and the champions that they are using are just hard to engage on. Every time you use the Absolute Zero on Lime, she's not going to be able to get anything out of it, because everybody could just run away. Everybody has dashes on the side of Peekachu, except for the fact that it's a Jace and a Lilia that could also find a way to just run away from the Absolute Zero.
Right, and on top of that, Nuna and Willem built on tank, so there's no damage all through it, but now Minute is in danger. There's a 2v1. Flash over the wall, Ling is following up with a lunge. Riposte is there, stunts onto Gragas. Talaria will not follow suit, and Ragnarok misses the opportunity for a gank once again.
Yeah, they're trying to piece everything in their hands. Peekachu finding an opportunity right now in order for them to just finish it. Wait, what was... I thought that could have ended up in an accident there. That was a rocket jump in front of a Gragas. I thought that could have been a disaster for RXE Ragnarok. Good thing the Clarion used the body cloud already.
Yeah, and those are 3 members just hovering around Peekachu, so there's an immediate follow-up if ever there is a stun that occurs. So it's a really dangerous spot here for Ragnarok, but now with a 6k gold advantage for Peekachu. Dash, is there anything that could make Ragnarok back into this game?
Shake shit right now. Can't find any place in the ocean. One thing that I can see for Ragnarok is just to move forward with 1 kill, take 2 shutdowns against the members of Peekachu. Peekachu has only a 5k gold lead. Not that much as I expected, but it's still doable. It's still possible for them to come back. Just for them, they just need to be patient. Because Peekachu would make a mistake one time or another.
Yeah, right now though, going for their aggression, mid lane defense for Peekachu so far. Karya going the front line. 1v1 in the bot side on the opposite end of the map. Really, really dangerous spot for Ling as well. There is ultimate for Camille if ever it comes down to an all-in. Now, Tristana comes through with a rocket jump, follows suit for the flash for Camille. Next thing, ultimate to follow up, and now Tristana's dead. There's no ADC for Ragnarok, and now Peekachu going for an all-in. Absolute Zero kills on Claria, but that is a support traded for the Baron laner and the ADC of RXE.
Okay, that was a great decision making right there from the Camille. The Hextech ultimate into the flash was able to take down a very big chunk of damage, which is the Tristana, and now the bot lane turret is going to be taken down.
Right now they're still pushing through. Kirsten laying back in. Moonfall will not connect with the last minute cable from Camille. What a play.
Oh, great hook shot away. Not even able to start off the fight with this Moonfall. Could have been a disaster for Peekachu, but they can't start anything right now against the members of Peekachu. Pikachu is just so good at maneuvering around the fight, and this is why this champions, this draft is just way better, because they have a lot of ways to make mistakes. If they make a mistake, they can just get away with a hook shot, they can get away with a dash, and Ragnarok doesn't have exactly that. And also, one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen there was Insanity just going for the rocket jump in front of Camille, which is not ideal.
And I like how you reiterated that point, because that is what I think makes Pikachu quite exceptional when it comes to their draft. Overall, on top of the CCs, on top of the scaling, is their
Oh,
maneuverability and also
wait.
their mobility in this game.
Yeah, it's really hard to fight against that. And having a Lulu, having a Nami, they're not the most mobile champion. Even the Diana, they're not the most mobile champions that you can use. One mistake, one missed possession, you could just get taken down by Pikachu because they just have a lot of dashes.
Yeah, and they could just go away from these massive ultimates. Tidal Wave.
Yeah.
What? Who's that gonna
Absolute
connect
Zero
to?
too,
Everyone
yeah.
has mobility. As we've seen it, Absolute Zero as well on top of that. So right now, Line engaging with a snowball will not connect onto anyone. That is a knockup for the Aqua Prison from Nami. But look at the backside as well. It's Link going in for the flag. Moonfall connects onto 3, but there's no damage from Ragnarok. And now Link is trying to go into the back end, trying to kill down Aya, but Aya's still alive. And now Lime to follow one.
No.
There is 2 members left for Ragnarok. They're trying to scour back away, but it's not enough. The double kill for a minute is secured. And Nami will be the last man hope, but it's not even close. Pikachu secures the ace.
Ends the game. Pikachu, what a great positioning during that fight. They were able to maneuver around the fight. Again, we said that a while ago, and Pikachu was able to do just that. Nobody died. They used all of their resources just to get away from this very immobile ultimates that they have on the side of Ragnarok, and they weren't able to find any value out of that. And also, to point out, they didn't have enough damage to take down Pikachu. Pikachu was just so ahead. That's why they were able to get away with it.
The showmanship for Pikachu of their supremacy in League of Legends Wild Rift up against Ragnarok. And the lower bracket, round 1, has been seen. And looking at the draft as well, first 3 picks, there's no Camille. But the thing is, Pikachu picked up Gragas. So if ever Ragnarok picks up the Camille, that's a hard counter immediately in the draft. So maybe that's one of the reasons why we didn't see Ragnarok picking up this Camille.
Yeah, we have seen Pikachu for quite a long time, right? We have seen Pikachu always in this tournament for FSL. They have been very great at playing right here for these members right here at Pikachu. They were very great. They know how to play around. They know how to draft. And that's why I am really at an awe at how these players draft, how they move around the map, how they call, how they shot call. It's really great to see for Pikachu to be having a comeback here in the lower bracket finals, because they have been always strong in this tournament. So RXE Ragnarok, I think one of the things they could use here is to play around their strengths, because right now we can definitely see that this draft is doesn't really have an identity, and that's why it was really hard for them to do anything.
To be fair though, Pikachu's history has been really strong, right? Second place in SEA Games. Their Singapore roster only defeated by City Dogs, which was chasing dreams from last year's Open 5. So I think this is really a matchup to watch. And if ever RXE Ragnarok can defeat Pikachu, that is a statement here in FSL Wild Rift Open.
Yeah, for RXE Ragnarok, most of the players have been here already, and also have been participating already on most of our tournament. And this is just a newly formed team, RXE Ragnarok, but they're good. They're players that we've known from before, but this is a team that has just been formed. That's why they don't have the flair that Pikachu has. I think this team has a lot of things to improve on, but right now they're stellar. They just need to work on their draft.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think speaking of the draft, I think that is going to be a really interesting standpoint. Like, what are the bans going to be right now, since we've seen quite an exceptional draft being locked in by Pikachu from game number 1? Is this going to change for game 2? That is a question, but for now, that is game 1 for FSL Wild Rift Open for the lower bracket. My name is Infinity, and this is Dash. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, it's game 2 of the series.
Welcome back, everybody, to the FSL Wild Rift Open featuring League of Legends Wild Rift, and we're going to be your shoutcasters for today. My name is Dash, and I'm here with Infinity. And Infinity, we saw a very great game 1. What are you expecting for game 2? What do you think should be banned?
Expectations. I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I think this is going to be a hell of a game. Aside from that, though, when it comes to picks and bans, I think there will be a ban towards Camille. Potentially, because of the amount of power and prowess that Pikachu has shown us on that Camille, having that huge prowess on top side, even up against Fiora. and also
Yep.
the amount of engages that she has done with a follow through from her teammates. So I think at this point, a Camille could be expected as a ban, or else have that counter up against this specific champion on picking Gragas for the opposite side.
Honestly, there's not a lot. Right now, there's not a lot of counters for Camille, which is something that I'm really not sure what they can answer with. I mean, the Fiora, yes,
Gragas.
is an answer. The Gragas, as you said, would be good. But would that be enough to actually, if ever the Gragas would be picked, the Galio is a possibility too for the side of whoever's going to be picking the Camille, or at least pick the Camille for themselves, maybe. And I believe that they need to ban probably the Jace, probably the Lilia needs to be banned too, because even if we didn't not see a lot of the plays from them, the pressure that they were doing around the map was really great.
Yeah, definitely. And something interesting is that we haven't seen Galio, as you've stated, as it's banned away. We don't expect Kha'Zix so far. Morgana, Wukong, like these huge picks could still be chosen by these teams for the second game if ever they want to go for that route, especially with Morgana having a black shield that could negate these CCs from the opposing team. So that could be options.
Yeah. Right now in their draft, we're seeing some adjustments from RXE Ragnarok. They have been banning the Corki. Corki was something that they were afraid of a while ago. Right now, if they won't be banning the Camille and they're the first pick, they can just pick up the Camille if they want to. Link could just rock that Camille and maybe wait for what Peekachu is going to be picking against the Camille. But hey, with what we're seeing, yeah, they're not banning the Camille. I believe that they would be picking that first. Right?
And I love the bans of Pikachu. From game 1 to game 2, they're consistent. Lucian Karma should not be picked. It is banned away. Remove these champions, right? Because it's really strong in the early game, even towards the late game, especially for Karma as a utility champion. And right now, Ragnarok has a lot of options. They can go for Aatrox, they can go for Camille, like these high prio picks, even utility as well, that could go for Lilia. But instead, a support priority, similar to game number 1 for Ragnarok.
Yeah, they have been picking a lot of this first pick supports so far. And most of the supports that they've been picking, like a while ago, it was a Nami, now it's a Rakan. They don't really... I don't really find any priority with these champions, because these champions could potentially be not picked anyway. So I was hoping that they would be picking, something like this. They should be picking the Jace. Camille would be next here for sure for Pikachu, because that's an easy pick. It's not going to be taken anyway. Might as well take it.
Yeah, and this is the difficulty of Ragnarok draft so far. From game number 1 to game number 2, it's consistent, right? Having a support, having a support prio means that you don't have flexibility all throughout the first 3 picks. This is already set in stone, stated that this is going to be a support, and I think this is. Yeah, I think maybe this is what they want to go for. You know, put a comfortable champion for their support to have that strength later on to the game for the ADCs, but it's not being great so far.
That's actually good. That's actually good. Picking the Wukong to the Diana would be a better pick, because the Wukong, yes, it doesn't have any damage, not a lot, but having the Cyclone to help out the Diana setup, the Moonfall, is going to be really good for the team so far. But with how it's starting for the game, it's just Pikachu. Wow, the confidence here, picking up the Fiora for the Jace and the Gragas. These are very flexible champions still. They can just put up the Fiora on the jungle just so that they can pick the Camille on the second rotation. Maybe they're just taking down most of the champions that Ragnarok is comfortable with. That's why they picked the Fiora.
Yeah, Fiora jungle is still really strong. Jace, Gragas still flexible. So still, right now, Pikachu's going for the same pattern here of the first 3 picks being quite flexible, and then the last 2 picks, which will pretty much state, you know, counters up against Ragnarok all around. And so far, what we are still looking for are those huge damage dealers.
Okay, that's insane. Okay, with their bans, we're seeing the Kai'Sa priority on the ADCs. They don't want to see any late game champions right here on the side of Ragnarok. That's why they're banning most of this ADCs. But here, Lilia getting banned. Yes, this is a good step for Ragnarok, banning the champions that they think are going to get picked. But with the flexible first 3 picks of Pikachu, you're not going to be expecting it. They can just adjust. Not having the Lilia, let's just pick something else. We have the Aatrox possibility. The Camille is also available.
Oh, I like the Kazakhs ban. I was waiting for that opportunity. Like Kazakhs is still open for the jungle if every Fiora comes stop, but now it's banned away. Lilia as well. Wukong and Diana, these are high prio for jungle as well, has been picked up by Ragnarok. So their options could be that Aatrox going into the
Varus.
jungle. You also have Vi, Morgana, Riven. Like these champions could go towards that route. So still up in the open for Pikachu. So Varus is going to be locked in. So I think it's similar pattern, right? You have two poke champions similar to game one.
Yeah. With the champions that they have, the Varus is just basically the same of what they wanted to do during the first game. The Corki was banned, so might as well just take something that does the same thing. Does burst damage, goes from far away, but with added layer of CC from the Chain of Corruption from the Varus. But
Yeah.
here, with what they did, right? What's interesting about that is that they banned the Kaisa, they banned the Xayah. That leaves no options for them just to pick the Ezreal, just for them to have the safer lane. Ezreal is a good champion, yes, but so far we haven't seen Ezreal a lot in the competitive scene because Ezreal is really hard to maneuver around during the first objectives. That's why the Corki, most of the AB champions are getting picked first. But Ezreal is a good champion. But here on this matchup, it's gonna be really hard. The Varus Nami on the bot lane, that
Varus
pressure,
jungle.
oh my.
Yeah. I really like your point, right? Because Ezreal is not a champion that provides engage tools. That is not a champion that provides CCs. It's a champion
safe pick.
that is selfish, as I can call it, because Ezreal is
Yeah,
all about
definitely,
those
yeah.
damage, is all about, you know, focusing on himself, producing these huge damage numbers, as compared to Varus, on the other hand, for Pikachu. You have a lot of CCs, right? You
Yeah.
have the Grievous Wounds from the Rain of Arrows. You also have the Root from the Corruption, the Ultimate rather, right?
Yeah.
So there are a lot of utilities towards the side of Pikachu, and similar to game number one, this is a potential for a landslide up against Ragnarok once again, because this is their winning potential from the prior game.
Yeah. The Fiora pick against the Wukong is very smart too. They had the flexibility right there. And I like the Wukong versus the Fiora just because of the fact that, yes, the Wukong is going to be very strong in the early parts of the game, but the longer the game goes, the Fiora is just going to be mowing down the Wukong. The pressure right there is on how Link is going to be playing this early game, because if she won't be able to stop the power of this top lane, especially a while ago, we've seen the Camille from Peekachu very strong. If the Fiora is going to be the same story, the Wolf would basically just be a CC bot at this point.
Yeah. Like, Cyclone, go ahead. But no, if you're rooted, Cyclone
Yeah.
on the spot.
Yeah.
Can't move.
Not
The
going to
man
be
can't
running away.
moved. Hey.
Yeah. They're not going to be getting close, right? Because what I'm really expecting here, the Wukong play is going to be pretty important in the first objective fight, because the Wukong does have the Cyclone. It has a lot of damage in the early game compared to how it's going to be dealing in the late game. So that is what they can leverage in their favor. The Absolute
Right.
Zero to the Diana's, Moonfall to the Cyclone. But the problem there is that's a lot of things that they need to connect together in order for them to be effective. Pikachu has a lot of ways to make mistakes. They can just run away, reset after that. But Ragnarok needs to weave their ultimates together.
Ooh, I like the aggression there by Ragnarok. Busha hang top, going in for the Grand Enemy, going back away. A lot of damage coming through so far. And now, I think in this early matchup, Pikachu will have the advantage because of the aggression of Nami with the Aqua Percent, and also having these long-range pokes from Aya will have that potential to punish Ragnarok. As we've seen so far, Ezreal's already low HP. And now going in for the Kraken Slayer, that is something interesting. Now, Insanity wants to go for the damage up against these tanky champions onto Fiora, onto Gragas, later on into the game.
Yeah. And what's hard about fighting a Varus and Nami in the bot lane is that they can safely just poke you out and heal if you try to poke them out also, which is one of the problems, one of the reasons why it has been strong during the earlier stages of Wild Rift is because you don't have an answer to it. You're just gonna get poked out like what they're doing right now.
Grand entrance though, using up the flash, or well rather Insanity dashing into the fight. Aya, still safe. Claria. This is a 2v3. The flash is there for
Oh, the
Insanity. Will not connect though. Now look at the backside. Gragas is just in time for the follow-up. And once again, Peekachu is dominating, and now Gragas has been a savior for this team.
Yeah, Gragas getting the kills and was able to get the body slam into the backline 2-0 on the Varus Nami combo in the bot lane. This is just a great start for Peekachu. Getting the advantage on the lane that is 900 gold lead already just because of those 2 kills.
And that is just going to make much harder of a life for Insanity. And also Bushahan Talk, right? And
Yeah.
if you're looking at the items, right, Insanity is forced to buy the Executioner's Calling to reduce the healing of Nami.
Not going to be even starting, but they want to go for a fight. Their body slam is going to be able to hit on Kirsten Lay. She needs to force a flash here. With Lime and also Kirsten Lay not having any flash, they're going to be forced to back away and give this blue buff.
Yeah, and that's really big. If you get these punishes from the Nuno and Willem, decreases the amount of CS, decreases the amount of levels that he can attain, and that is going to make much harder of a life for Ragnarok to be able to go for those ganks, especially what we said it a while ago, that Nuno and Willem will be the key factor of those early engage.
Yeah, I hope that that would be the case here, because if they lost a lot of their priority because the Wiggler of the Nunu compared to the Gragas is just way inferior. They were able to get away with just taking down the blue buff, just lessening the pressure that the Lime could do, having less levels, having less gold compared to what the Gragas would have. But here, Peekachu, with the confidence that they're doing right now, they just want to take down a lot of this pressure in the bot lane in order for them to not get any advantage. And also, want to point out, the Executioner's Calling first item on an Ezreal is not really that good.
Yeah, it's really bad because expected they could go for a tier of the Goddess to go and build off Manamune. Executioner's Calling is gonna delay you quite a bit, especially at level 5, wherein those huge objectives will be key. That's not gonna happen for Ragnarok. Insanity is going to have to stay for a bit, is going to have to delay to build the first item.
Yeah, and I would like to point out though, Tear of the Goddess is a weak item. Honestly, it's a weak item. It's just a low value item unless you get it to Manamune. And the faster you get that to Manamune would be very better to you. Even if it's not built to Amura Mana, it's okay. As long as you get rid of the Tear of the Goddess as fast as you could, it would be good. But with this case, it's hard. Like what you said, they're delayed a long time. And they're not going to be even building the first item before this first objective. Why it's going to happen? Yeah, the Nuno and Willem, they were able to take their Rift Scuttler. Exhaust has been used already. They want to go for a fight. Kirsten Lay doesn't have any flash, but that thundering blow to push them back. Minuet was able to get the first kill right there. Again, joining this fight before the Rift Herald comes in. And I think they're not... Never mind. I thought Fiora is fighting against the Wukong.
No way! Jace flash to the backside, go for the knockback to pull in Kirsten Lay is exceptional. It's amazing to watch. And now going back to what you've mentioned a while ago is the Manamune, right? Ezreal doesn't really matter. Early game, sure. But the thing is, you want to go for late game at this point. You want to have that huge damage potential early on to the matchup, but you can't have it. Like, look at the damage of Insanity. Non-existent.
Referrals have been taken. They have the Chain of Corruption. They started the fight already. The knockup's not going to be helpful because they're going to be knocked up themselves. And that's going to be a 2-4-0 without any effort from Peekachu. And you said it, Insanity doesn't have any damage.
Definitely. And now with the Rift Herald going into the mid lane, you have a lot of these gold injection for Gragas and the Dragon for another objective. Peekachu is just on a roll.
Yeah. Just didn't need to... Yeah, because of the Executioner's Calling there, that was a really hard pick themselves. They were afraid of the early game pressure coming in from Claria, but the very bigger pressure right there is the power, the damage of the Varus. It's not the healing of the Nami, it's the damage of the Varus is what scares me. So what can you do to answer that? Most of the time you answer it with damage themselves, but the way to the skies to take the blue buff and the Chain of Corruption to end it all. Not even able to get the Grand Entrance in. He both the
able to get close. Lime is having a hard time getting close to Moonball onto the back line. We'll be able to hit on the Clarion. That's going to be a first kill that they need for the team right here. That's the turnaround that we're waiting for. The double kill to the Cyclone. They lost a lot of ultimate. They want to go for a fight. The Grand Challenge has been called. The Riposte is going to be able to get the Grand Challenge in. The Pop is going to be healing everybody right there on the backside. He's going to be having a hard time. Double kill already on the side of Peekachu. That's going to be 2 for 2 again on the advantage of Peekachu.
Wow, they still managed to get the trade back even up against Ragnarok this time around though. Aya.
And Sauce. And that's going to be the kill. You know what? Needs to run away from this. They have the flash. They don't have the flash anyway. So this is just going to be a hard fight that they need to go in. They can re-engage. They have the Steel Shock Blast was able to hit. And they might be able to get the 2 disguise onto the back line. They have the flash out with low on HP. But they're not going to be continuing the fight.
Oh, so much happening in a matter of minutes. And now Peekachu still has the advantage. 5k gold lead, 1v1
Outside.
top.
Wow. Ling fighting against Fiora. Not a fight that you want to go for. Cyclone is going to be up in a bit. And Ling is just taking down, trying to sustain against this Fiora. The flash happens and Ling is just going to fall down. That's the 1v1 you're waiting for when you're fighting against a Fiora.
That was worth. That is a flash for a kill. Peekachu so far having a lot of these goals and also the mid lane turret. Oh, Lime CC's Aya.
Well, Root happens. Absolute Zero gonna be killing Aya right there.
Oh!
The flash play to survive from that. The redemption was enough to survive. And Aya, what a monster!
That is what I call a miracle. That is
The patience.
crazy from Aya. Waiting for the right opportunity to use the flash. And then right after, Claria used the redemption enchant. It's crazy to think about.
Right.
Now another fight.
Yeah, big fight. You know what? Ticking down HP. Ling is gonna use the Cyclone and Lime doesn't have any damage here. It's a 4v2. Not a fight that you want to go for, but this tower is gonna be a good sacrifice for the betterment of their team. RAGNAROK losing 3 towers in just 8 minutes.
Yeah, and I love that from Peekachu. Why? Because now they completely erase the tier 1 turrets in this game. Remove bot lane, mid lane, top lane. They have the exceptional map control. So now Ragnar is gonna have a harder time to go into the left quadrant and the bottom quadrant jungle of their own space, of their own part of the map.
Big gold. Fiora. Hullbreaker defines Thunder. Infinity Live is now low in HP just because of that Chain of Corruption was not able to hit. That's a good lifeline for the team, but I want to point out Infinity, 8k gold, 7k gold on Varus, 8k gold on the Fiora. 2 items already at this point in the game. That's not what you want to happen.
Yeah, and considering this huge exceptional lead by Peekachu in the early game, Gragas is building AP. No need to go for tank.
Oh. Yeah, that's true. Building AP, not even caring about it. They just need the extra damage because if they're on an advantage anyway, if they're on a roll anyway, they won't need that extra tankiness. If they're going to be taking down anybody as fast as they could, that's less damage already. You don't need to tank any of the damage potentials. And also, they're losing on the damage sources to Infinity. Yeah. RAGNAROK with an Azrael. Azrael gets stronger after the second item. Mid-game is when Azrael gets tons of damage. But right now, with just the Mana Mune, that's not enough.
Look, here's the thing. You're a tank regardless if you're up against an unfed champion. And so far, Ragnarok is unfed.
Yeah, fighting out. Body slam onto Kirsten Lei. Lime is left alone. No flashes whatsoever, but is very fast. Cardinal Enchant has been popped, but there you go. The arrow was able to hit on the head. The nail in the coffin that they need. They don't have enough CCs anymore. 1 kill onto the hands of Peekachu.
Yeah, the piercing arrow from Aya has been consistent. Now with Rift Herald mid lane,
No.
this is a tier 2 turret down.
No, another turret. And also another one on the top side. They lost a lot just because of those... Oh no, because of the rotations right here of RAGNAROK, they're being forced to react against Peekachu, and now another objective. That's 3 already being taken down just because of that one loss that he had in the bot lane. Ocean Drake is on the ice again of Peekachu. The lost 2 towers, gonna be losing this Ocean Drake. And that's not ideal for a team like this. 12k, make that 13k gold lead later on for Peekachu.
Yeah, and it's just too much, right? It soars way back in the first minute. 1v1 top though.
This is gonna be a kill for Ling. Flash happened. That's not gonna happen. This is gonna be a 2v1. This is gonna be easy. That's a Fiora with a Hullbreaker. Not a fight that can want to win, but she doesn't have any mana There you go. Chain of Corruption is not available anymore. They were able to hit one, but the damage from Aya is enough for them to take down the Grand Entrance. Wasn't able to hit. And Peekachu is just gonna get away with no casualties from the team.
Yeah, there's no cash back. Pikachu got all the gold, got all the money in this game. And have you seen the confidence of Aya from that matchup on top side? Flash over the
Flashing
wall
in.
to the
Yeah.
absolute zero up against Lime. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. They have it in the bag and they have the damage and the sustain regardless of any tank items unavailable for them to tank that damage through.
Yeah, they're not really afraid at this point, Infinity, because with the amount of damage that they can deal right now in this game, they're not afraid of anything that could happen against them. Because Lime isn't building AP anyway. The Absolute Zero won't have enough damage because he's not level 10 yet. So it's gonna be easy to call for Aya to just go in. They don't have enough damage. We have 3 items already. Edge of Night is available, so it's okay. They just flash in against this team. That just is a sign that they're on such a big disadvantage that the ADC has the confidence to just flash in.
Yeah. Once again, reiterating, you can be tank champions if you're fighting up against unfed champions.
Yeah.
And that is exactly
Basically.
what's happening.
Yeah, they have more levels. They have a Hull Breaker right there on the bot side. If this is going to be a 2v1, it's a possibility with a Grand Challenge right there. Great toss in order to get away from this fight, though. That's another flash happening. The Cursing Lay wasn't able to finish anything. The tanky Hull Breaker Fiora was able to survive.
Tipping my hat towards that micro play from Fiora in the bottom side, but once again, Pikachu is now
Chain of
diving in.
Yeah, that's going to be a dead Nuno right there. Chain of Corruption and the damage from the Piercing Arrow is enough to take down this tank PS member of RXE Ragnarok.
Yeah, quote-unquote tankiest member
Yeah.
of Ragnarok. So right now, Pikachu has all the lead in the world. Baron Nashor is alive. There is a huge potential that they could just bait out Ragnarok into going through for the Baron, and they could just end this game.
Yeah, they could just take the Baron if ever they want to. And with the amount of vision that they have on their jungle, the members of Pikachu, they can just take the Baron if they ever want, because they have the damage anyway. Oh, they're playing the long game. They're playing the safe game. They want to rotate first, maybe get the Blade of the Ruined King, then try to get the Baron after that. That pressure is enough for them to be more confident in just taking this pretty fast.
Yeah, and right now though, Azrael has built onto the Bork, Blade of the Ruined King, so this is a little bit of hope for Ragnarok to be able to make it back with a little bit damage from Insanity, if they could.
Oh!
Right now, 1v1 pot.
Grand Challenge, Cyclone, not gonna stop the monster from going in. Almost 4 items on the Fiora, and is gonna be chasing down Kirsten Lay. Most of the members are rotating. She has vision in that part of the map. Her boss is not gonna be used. It's a 3v1. She's just min-maxing at this point, trying to take down. The Chain of Corruption is there, rooted onto the Kirsten Lay. They got the repulse, won't be able to hit. The Tidal Wave won't be able to get them onto the back line. Gets the 2 kills, and that's gonna be the ending right there to the ace for Pikachu. This might be the game, and they're gonna be ending it right now.
My mind is blown. Pikachu removed Ragnarok in the map, has removed Ragnarok in the game, and they're looking to end. The Nexus is open.
Oh, this Nexus is gonna fall down, and Pikachu taking it 2-0, redeeming themselves from the loss from Seat Dogs, and showing them who is boss. Ragnarok 2-0 on this game. They're showing how strong they are on this tournament, on this series so far. In the FSL, they're one of the stronger teams, and Pikachu just showed it in this game.
What a series starter that we had, Dash, for FSL Wild Rift Open for the very first one in this year. The micro plays from Fiora was exceptional. The confidence of this team was immaculate. If you've seen from the early game in the bottom side, I think that was pretty much the jump starter for Pikachu to be able to win this through. Right? You have the punish onto Insanity. You have the punish onto Busha. And yes, Lime was able to escape that fight, but Aya got pretty much all the kills. You have Gragas getting all the kills and assists as well. And Insanity building to the Executioner's Calling delayed the damage. Lime doesn't really have that much. Kirsten Lane build onto Roa, not that much as well. Ling, Divine Thunder first item, not that much. So pretty much, they were so damn bad when it comes to the damage aspect of this specific game.
Yeah. They have lost on the damage department here. I thought that it's gonna be enough for Kirsten Lay to deal damage, and also Insanity, also the itemization right there, especially against a Varus. If you want to fight against a Varus, you need to get the more faster damage as you can. Especially when you're playing an Azrael, you need to get the Trinity Force as fast as you can in order for you to deal damage, and that is they didn't get it. They didn't get the Trinity Force, which is one of the problems here in the side of in their side for RXE Ragnarok. But now Peekachu winning this, and also Fiora gaining that early game advantage against the Wukong. Wow, that just gave them pretty much the biggest lead that they need.
Yeah, and if you're comparing the damage category of both these teams, I think Peekachu has double the amount or even triple the amount of damage compared to RXE. It's just that huge difference of gold and huge difference of damage made them able to win on top of their macro and micro play. And I think of that on top of that, I love how you mentioned about the BRK and also the Trinity Force comparison here for Insanity. Why need a BRK? That is going to only be acceptable up against Fiora. Gragas did not go for a tank. Others did not go for a tank. So I think in that aspect, it was quite a bummer for that matchup.
Honestly, even if they have the damage, even if they had the Blade of the Ruined King, one of the biggest sources of damage from an Azrael is basically a Sheen. If you have a Sheen, that's when Azrael starts to get strong, and the damage coming in from the Essence shot, I think a Mystic Shot from the Ezreal is enough to just whittle down his members. And also because they haven't started to poke anyone just yet before they started any fights, that's why the value of the Ezreal just went down pretty fast. But here on this game, yes, we found the power of Peekachu on this lower bracket finals, and I hope we see much more of that after this. But Infinity, what do you think about this game, and what do you think are going to be needed for the teams that are going to be fighting Peekachu moving forward?
Well, what I think about this game, it's a landslide. Off the series, more exceptionally, but I'm still tipping my hats off to RXE Ragnarok for showing quite a match up against Peekachu. And I think for the future matches and the future matchup up against Peekachu and the teams that is going to fight up against Peekachu, I think they have to be ready into removing these key champions. Jace, for one, you have that exceptional playstyle that is consistent for Jace, and you have to know how to counter and maneuver around the draft. And when it comes to the game itself, just be wary, have vision. No, because their junglers consistently roam.
Yeah. And that is what you need to fight against Peekachu, especially their drafting. Their drafting is really good. That's why you need to. The first battle starts at their drafting, and whenever you're drafting against, or at least banning against a team like Peekachu, you won't really know what to do if you don't ban basically the champions that could just flex. And that is the mind games that they were doing during the start of the drafting case. But again, everybody, that's just our first game. We have our next series coming up after this. We're just going to be waiting for the players to finish all their series, and we're going to be going for our match 2 after that. We're having your casters for today. My name is Dash, and I was here with Infinity. See you guys in just a bit for more Wild Rift games.